Greetings. We're 24 hours away from the sophomore episode of Silicon Valley Comic Con. Uh, 2017, and tomorrow we will. Kal Kat actually will just be on hand for the convention and covering it, and we will have tomorrow probably evening opening thing sneak preview. William Shatner. Yes, Captain Kirk. William Shatner. We will go. I will go see William Shatner. Haven't seen him in many years live. I'm gonna go see him, so that'll be cool. So the next day will be all of the Next Generation cast. So yeah, so Saturday, and everyone else and down in the dealer room and all that stuff. So Kal Kat at Silicon Valley Comic Con, formerly called the Big Wow Comic Fest. It's now called Silicon Valley Comic Con. It's the Big Wow Comic Fest. Yeah, we're back. We weren't there last year. We did go to Fanime last year, and this year we're going to Fanime too. So yeah, instead of Baycon, they basically transformed this into what Baycon used to be, but it was cool. So yes, and yes, I'm sure they will be a sneak preview of Starship Locations, the game. Yeah, you get to talk to the actual producer creator of the game. Kal Kat will be there, and Mark's Cards will not, but he's on board with it. Yes. So yes, there was no filming tonight. He was busy, so there's no filming. Yes, I still worked very late, and so all we really talked about was nothing to do with the convention. A little bit of the convention, but yeah. So yeah, and tomorrow we start the thing in the evening. Greetings, Captain. This is a Comic-Con Silicon Valley recap of day 1, Friday night. So you're going to see the recap, and this is the version for YouTube where I get to talk over what's being played in the background and watch it. Yeah, so I'm going to start playing that footage from Friday night. Now, okay, now first we have some footage in front of San Jose State, where that's alma mater, San Jose State. We walked by that. Now we're at the convention center, the McHenry Convention Center for Silicon Valley Comic Con. It's not Comic Con, it's Silicon Valley Comic Con. It's trying to be Comic Con. Yeah, so we're going to go in. Greetings and welcome to day 1 of San Jose Silicon Valley Comic Con. This is Kal Kat, your host, and I'm on set here at Convention Center, McHenry Convention Center, and I'm going to check things out, and then I'm going to go see William Shatner, because of course I'm going to go see William Shatner. Then we come to some of the dealers, the showroom area, showing a very fast pan of the showroom area, and another one of the showroom area. This is just to illustrate what's going on. There was some music playing in the background, so we want to take out all the audio here. So there was, to start off with, probably maybe 60 people wandering up and down the halls in there. They had spread it out more than at the other ones. And there weren't as many dealers and tables, but this is Friday, so not everybody arrived yet. They had a celebrity area in the middle. I went around the whole thing and did other things for the show. What's going on? The visuals of me doesn't matter too much. I got some footage of some characters from various programs. And what you're looking at is basically just wandering around the dealer's room, which looks like a car dealership. It has lots of cars and things and within it. Interesting. There's the Back to the Future stuff, including the DeLorean and the truck. Back to the Future. The truck is there too. Yeah, so you get to see that. Again, there was music in the background. It wasn't from Back to the Future, but there was other stuff, ambient noise. So you're going to get this. Oh, I'm aiming the phone at me, and hello. And I was in the dealer's room, and it is about 15 minutes to showtime of the Shatner thing. So we're going to the Shatner thing. I bet they're not going to let me film in there. So I'm just going to go in there and go chat. And later on, we're going to see other celebrities and guests and things like that. It'll be really cool. So here we are at Silicon Valley Comic-Con, the commercial for the convention. I am not being paid. I'm just here, so. And then we're in the auditorium waiting for the Shatner thing. There was definitely music playing. This is the Civic. It's called the Civic. It's weird that it's called the Civic, but there it is. City Civic Center or whatever. That's kind of redundant. William Shatner went on stage and was talking, and along came Wozniak, and he was talking. And Wozniak is one of the people running the show, and he's got a green armband like the regular folks that go to the show, even though he doesn't really need one because he's running it. We may get some sort of a cameo by Mr. Wozniak. That'd be cool. It's finished the William Shatner thing. I'll tell you about it later, but I'm going to catch the train, and tomorrow at the comic convention. So it was awesome. And then after the Shatner thing, I go into that was cool that I was at the Shatner thing. I really don't say much about the Shatner events, but I will follow this slideshow with actually what happened. Yes. San Jose Comic-Con, Silicon Valley, Friday night. Set. Friday evening. The opportunity to go to the Comic-Con, this convention, a day early, to go on Friday. I paid for the whole weekend, so I'm going to do everything. I went for the 3 hours. That was the opening up of the thing, sophomore year of the thing. Last year they started at freshman, but I was not there. I could not afford it last year. And we couldn't get Mark's cards on board last year. We couldn't get him on board this year either, so he's not there. He probably won't be at Fanime either. But we are going to Fanime, I'm going to Fanime. Okay, so yeah, I went to the dealer's room. It was slightly disappointing in that, but it was Friday night, and maybe they hadn't put everybody out yet. The horror hosts were not there. Maybe they decided not to come. I don't know. They weren't on the venue though, so maybe they weren't going to come. Maybe they're somewhere else. I'm going to look all that up when I look at the schedule tomorrow and see more of that. The expected return of the TNG cast is tomorrow. We'll see all of the Next Generation cast. And again, they film with music in the background and all that stuff, so we can't actually, in order to post this anywhere, we have to kind of cut out everything they're saying. Fortunately, I do remember a lot of what William Shatner said and can relay what he actually said. Some people asked some pertinent questions that were answered definitively by William Shatner. Yes, the first burning question in everyone's mind, which was asked twice in two different ways by two different people, will Shatner be in the new Abrams Star Trek movies at all? Will he be in Part 4, maybe? Or will he be at all in it? Although Shatner is not opposed to being in future Star Trek movies, he did point out that he is very old, and that even if they did a time travel story, it's kind of ridiculous. So he said, well, it would be kind of silly if, they shoehorned it in there and retconned it so that somehow he'd be there. He's 86 years old. It made sense that Nimoy appeared because he's a Vulcan and he's like supposed to be long-lived or something. But Shatner showing up would be kind of... They would have to spend the whole movie explaining that. Wozniak also implied that because he got up there when one of them asked the question too. But yeah, that would be kind of awkward. And one of the fans asked the same kind of question and said, well, why can't he go back in time and fix the Abramsverse so it doesn't happen and have old Shatner show up? He didn't want to answer that because that is a really kind of a lame idea.
So he just kind of said, I'm going to ask you about your costume instead. He was wearing a Robin costume with glasses. And he just didn't want to answer the question. So yeah, that idea has been flipped around on many websites. So it wasn't just this one person that said it. It's not a good idea, basically. He didn't like it. He thought it was lame. But yeah, many fans didn't like Generations when Shatner's character of Kirk was killed. And they want to sort of retcon it out with the new Abrams movies. Even Kal Kat has done stories where he goes into the Nexus and brings him back. But they're not going to do that on film. Only fan film, that's fine. Do that in a fan film. Shatner himself is not going to do it. Shatner impersonators, like Mr. Brian from our movie, yeah, he's going to. But not Shatner himself, no. Impersonators, yes. So no, it's not in Star Trek 4. Sorry. Other Shatner question. Other deep Shatner question. Somebody compared the Wrath of Khan death scene, I think it's the same guy, to the actual death of Leonard Nimoy. That was a little weird, and Shatner pointed that out. That was a little weird. That's two questions. And so he said, well, the Wrath of Khan's a movie, and he liked working with Ricardo Montalban, who was already kind of a mess because of a horse riding accident. He was already in a wheelchair, similar to Christopher Reeve, but less damaged than Christopher Reeve was another actor who was also hurt in a horse accident. And someone else brought up Kaley Cuoco, who was hurt a little bit in a horse riding accident, broke a leg. Shatner had once broken a leg in a horse riding accident. He mentioned how Kaley Cuoco was good at jumping horses, horseback. She's the actress from Big Bang Theory. No, she's not crippled or in a wheelchair. She just broke a leg, and they had to work around it in the script. In one of the early episodes of Big Bang Theory, apparently Shatner had a cameo at one point on Big Bang Theory. I look forward. I think that's got to be next season. Season that just happened. So I think he had a cameo because he was talking about it like he met her. Maybe he didn't, but maybe he did. So Nimoy comes in and goes, this is during the show. It's years ago. And he goes, this is like years ago when they were actually on the show together. And he goes in, and this is on the set. Yeah, this is not now. This is like many years ago. You know, he told a story about somebody asked him about his pranks. The prank about Leonard Nimoy's bicycle. He told a story from like years ago. He told it at the last convention 23 years ago when I saw him last. And very on fire, very excited to tell this joke about the prank with the bicycle. You can look that up online. It's the one where Nimoy's bike keeps disappearing. First it gets padlocked, and because he wanted to get to the commissary first. Then it gets stolen and put in Shatner's dressing room with Shatner's dog guarding it. Dog tried to bite him. Nimoy tried to get it back. Then he took the bike and he went to the lighting rigging guys at the studio, and he said, put this up in the lighting. And he's like, in the 60s. And so they were working together, and he kept stealing his bike. So, yeah, it's in his book. So go find the Shatner book, read about it. But yeah, so he had the bike. The last thing he did was put it in the lighting rigging, and he goes, hey, Nimoy, look up there. It's like, Bill, But yeah, but yeah, so that's Shatner stuff. But let's see, what else was the other burning questions? What was? Oh yes, the Spock. Some fans were mad that Shatner did not go to Nimoy's funeral. That he had a charity event going on at the same time, which are planned in advance, mind you. And I think, I think it's fine that he didn't go to the funeral, because he made up for it afterward. He's in his charity event. May seem a little kind of peckish of him, but that's what he did. So, but here he said, oh yeah, Nimoy was like a brother to him and friend and all that, and he really misses him. And I think he was earnestly saying that. It wasn't like he got Wozniak up there, and the two of them were talking about quantum physics and how Shatner had ripped Neil deGrasse Tyson, or stumped him, I guess you'd say. More like stumped him. on physics and stuff. He said, "Oh, you just made that up, didn't you?" Oh, because it's like science fiction, but it's not. Which isn't really stumping him. It's sort of just saying, "I don't agree with you," but it's Shatner. What are you gonna do? Shatner, Bill Shatner. Anyway, so that was this thing. Anyway, so that was a big event tonight. Shatner, Bill Shatner returns. Yes. What's there? Any other burning Shatner questions? Oh yes, he mentioned the horse riding and the horse racing. He always does. Any charity events and things. Wozniak mentioned that he had taught 5th grade for a while just to do it because he thought that would be cool. Funny 5th grade story, actually. When I was in 5th grade, guess who came to our school? Wozniak and Jobs. That's right. The guys that would be the future Apple computer guys showed up. I met them. I doubt he's going to remember it, but so he had a thing for going to 5th grade classes, hanging out. So going to meeting them and stuff. Yeah, so 80, 81, 82, somewhere around there. 1982, but he's 35 years ago. And he showed up, and he was very animated and charismatic. It was the guy that I met years ago. Had a beard back then. One of them did. But yeah, they were plugging the Apple I and then the Apple II. And we bought an Apple IIe, which we had for many years. Also, my sister had a Mac at one point, and a Power Mac. We still use Apple iPhones. We used Apple iPhone to record. I used Apple iPhone to record the footage as well. And the audio wouldn't have been good anyway. It would have sucked. So I just wrote over it. Yeah, because it's a phone camera. Video looks good, but the audio is. You gotta have a mic on the guy. It was fine in the studio. You could hear it in the Civics Theater, the Civic City Civic. Goofy name. City Theaters too. I saw an opera in there once, Così fan tutte or something, years ago. So it was a strange opera. Yeah, and I believe we saw Sweeney Todd in there. That was where that was. But yeah, I've seen a couple of things in there. Yeah, when there was a play. It was a play before it was a movie. But yeah, so yeah, there we go. Celebrity table included some classic celebrities from TV and movies and such. Shows I've heard of, but I just didn't get around to seeing them. Part of the issue with filming them, of course, even with a cell phone, with an iPhone, is yeah, you're going to get in trouble. They want the pictures to be official, so they don't want to get in trouble, get kicked out of the convention. So that's why you don't see any of that. But yeah, the Nichelle Nichols was there, but of course couldn't film it. Maybe tomorrow or the next day, you might say, all right, you can film this part. But or Shatner, Bill Shatner. And no, I did not ask him about what he would think of a fan film where he was the savior of the entire universe. I didn't ask him that yet. It'd be funny if I did. See what he'd say. He'd probably go, "What? That's kind of silly." But of course, he would save the universe. He would be like Q. Now, if he says that, that would be awesome. So of course, he would save the universe. He's Captain Kirk. But maybe he wouldn't, because he even denied, like, he said, I'm not in the next Star Trek. So he probably wouldn't. He'd say, what? No, I wouldn't do that. That's silly. But he apparently did have some intestinal issues that he was complaining about. But he's old, so, you know. But anyway, so yeah, and he talked about Boston Legal and working with James Spader. And then he enjoyed that, and somebody mentioned Boston Legal and this bedroom scene and some other scenes. There were several of those. He was having a lot of senior moments, but at least he was joking about that. And he said that there's a new movie story he's working on, TV movie probably, called Senior Moment. In the movie in Boston Legal, on the TV show, he played a guy with Alzheimer's, which is like Jimmy Doohan, one of his co-stars, had. He doesn't have Alzheimer's, but he's just bizarre. But he was playing that kind of a character, so that was cool. And, Boston Legal was an interesting show. It was a spin-off of a previous show, and it was more successful than the original. And the people that did Boston Legal went on to try and do a Wonder Woman pilot, which utterly failed because they made her a lawyer, and it's like, no. Want to do Boston Legal 3? Do Boston Legal 3. That's fine. I don't know that Chuck Lorre, and I think they went on to do Big Bang Theory. I think they helped on that, and Mad Men and stuff. But yeah, don't quote me on that. Anyway, so there's so he liked working with Montalban and Nimoy, Mrs. Was unfortunately he could not go to the funeral. So yeah, that's it. There's my recap of the first night